that are in boxes, and they could use that for walkways and roads and so augment what the plow drivers can do. And so that those salt boxes have been purchased. They've yet to be sort of deployed. One of them, I understand, will be on Ocean View. So that's an intended sort of improvement for your district. Another one will be on Bishop Hill, another one on the base of Golden Road. A couple, probably two on Bishop Hill. But they will be sort of employed, one behind the pub to deal with the narrow lane that the machines can't get down in Stunt Cove. So they will be employed in sort of a pilot project at various places where they'll be there for the winter season. So that's one thing. In terms of sort of priorities, snow plowing priorities and capacities, I know that's under review by the Public Works. I don't know if there's anybody who wants to speak to that specifically. Brian?
Right now, we're actually reviewing a helpful service that we gave the community with last snow session, and with a view to improving the service for next year. We have a report coming to council probably, say, the next 6 weeks that will address some of the issues that you brought up.
And regarding a four-wheel drive ambulance, it's been pointed out to us by the ambulance service that they only have two-wheel drive. They would like a four-wheel drive. That's absolutely supported by the municipality, and we supported their request for a four-wheel drive vehicle for Bowen Island. So that is where that's going. We're not clear. That's basically a decision on the part of the ambulance service. But certainly the municipality stands behind that. Is that correct, Brian?
That's correct.
Yeah. And I think there was a third question.
Yes, the off-road paths for walking and bicycling. It's maybe a way to get funding. If there's infrastructure funding available, it seems to me like it would be a very good project.
Absolutely. Do you want to speak to that?
Yeah. There's both an old plan, which was a long-term plan, and this is recently revisited as recently as last Thursday evening, which are the high priority trails, and flagged as near the top as a connector from Ocean View, in fact right through to Scarborough, from a elongated road, and it requires access across a private property until Davis property, but the idea is to get people off of Seven Hills, be able to walk along, and then either through a right-of-way up onto Ocean View or along David Road onto Millers and up and over. And from Ocean View, actually carry on down the hill across through to Leaven and get you through towards Eagleston. So though there is not a budget in hand for that, but that's an intention, and they're just doing some planning around how to move forward with that.
Will, and then you?
I'm Will Hesby, not Will Hilson, so I can't do anything about the roads and that kind of thing. Now, I guess it's mostly a comment, but there's a question embedded in it. So it's based on Bob's presentation, where I really like the way he did the presentation, where he talked about budget, strategic planning, and then some big projects like OCP and those kind of things. And then at the end was the developer deals. And that is a model I'd sure like to see Municipal Hall working on in the future. And I think one of the reasons that our OCP has not been renewed is there's been a whole bunch of fires that municipal councils had to deal with. And often they're developer initiatives. And so I would really like to see the model that council works on the things that are important to the community first, and the developer comes in when they can fit in. And of course, developers at least have rights and things like that, but I think our community has a bunch of rights too, and that's to get the things that make our community run, and then if there's time from staff and municipal council that those developer deals get in. The perception a lot of the community has is developers often elbow into the front of the road and get dealt with first. And so I guess my question is that a possible thing? Is that an intention that council could follow, or so there's, I guess that's my question, is that a model that municipal council can and will follow?
Well, good point. You look at our strategic plan, and that was all about foundational stuff.
Yeah.
It's about, making sure we got the right staff, making sure we got a land use plan which is visionary and encompasses the island, and make sure we've got basically a plan for infrastructure that this community needs. So it's all about us. I mean, us as a community, number one. Now, we got into a bit of a debate regarding sort of the OCP, and the question was, because we got this big proposal on the table for Cape Roger Curtis, and the question is, should the OCP fit to the Cape Roger Curtis proposal, or should the Cape Roger Curtis proposal fit to the OCP? I mean, that's just a question. How do those things fit together? I mean, we weren't clear on that, but what we did decide is that number one, we wanted clarity on the process for the OCP. We wanted to turn this notion of an OCP update into something reality, so that there was something concrete and tangible and in progress that then we could sort of look at as we consider sort of moving forward with the Cape Roger Curtis proposal. So it goes back to your point. Our first, and this was sort of a council agreement, that the number one responsibility is a holistic planning process. And then we'll basically deal with Cape Roger Curtis in that context, not the other way around. Is that fair comment, council? Judy?
I think you were.
Oh, sorry, Judy, you're right, yes. And then Judy, and other questions? Oh, sorry, Paul, you had your hand up, so yeah. Paul, you, and then Judy. Yes. Paul. Oh, you've already spoken.
No, I'm not confused.
Okay.
I'm just curious to know if Mr. Weston gave you any indication as to what kind of money is available for the community center.
What sort of money is available for the community center?
Did he give you a data number?
Well, we got some advice. And one of the things, we talked about numbers, total. Actually, we didn't talk about what's available. We talked about what would be a reasonable request, in his opinion, from a community our size. And what he said was he thought the $10 million figure was way high. Just using his own judgment, he thought that didn't really sound like something that a federal bureaucrats would easily say yes to. And he suggested something much scaled down. And I'm forgetting the numbers that were sort of thrown around. They were more in the $2–3 million range. Correct me please if I'm wrong in that. That would be something that would be seen as sort of a reasonable request from a community of our size. So it's something significantly smaller than as the numbers that have been proposed. So, but in terms of, so that's really as far as that conversation went. Is that fair, Doug?
I don't know if it was more from the Western conversation, but we also had a meeting Saturday before last with one of the senior Canada Council of the Arts persons who was talking about the Heritage Canada funding that's available for the community hall side of the center, not the recreation side, but the side that does assembly and performing arts types activities and light recreation activities. And there the funding has been increased by budget 2009 from 30% of capital to 50%, and the equipment funding has gone up to 70%. So a substantial assist on that portion of the project from the federal side.
Okay, help me. Paul. Okay, Paul mentioned.
Okay. So this is fairly specific, yeah. This is talking about the part of the capital plan. You identified 4 priority projects: sewer, roads, marshalling, fire hall, community center. I'm assuming these weren't in priority order; they were just identified. Is that correct?
No priority, 4 things. Yeah, 4 things that met sort of priority status.
Yeah. So you could also